Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura if you're new here, and today I'm going over my June TBR. In June, there are two very exciting things happening. The first one being Panemathon. Panemathon was created by Robbie over at And His Nose Stuck in a Book, which I'll link down below, so definitely go check that out. And it's to celebrate the release of A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne, which, if you somehow don't know, is the new Hunger Games book. Robbie has made such a fun readathon. I love all of the prompts, and of course I want to support somebody who's been super supportive of my channel since day one. He was my very first subscriber and leaves such nice comments all the time. Robbie is just such a joy to watch. Like, he is the physical embodiment of happiness. So if you need to smile, go watch his videos and check out the announcement video for this readathon if you want to see all the rules and everything. So that's happening. But June, as I'm sure we're all aware, is also Pride Month, aka the best time of the year. I love Pride Month. It is always just such a fun time. But with the world being how it is currently, Pride is pretty much cancelled. At least the outdoor social celebrations. But that doesn't mean that I can't celebrate Pride in my own way. So for the month of June, I'll be reading queer books, as many as I can at least. I've tried to work in mostly queer books. There's one prompt where I couldn't find a queer book on my TBR for, but that's okay. But otherwise they're all queer, so I'm not sure if all of the authors are queer. I know a few are for sure, and then there's one for sure who I know is not, but the rest I don't really know about. So hopefully most of them are queer authors as well, because I really want to uplift not just queer characters but also queer authors and people in the community. And that's not just for Pride Month, that's for always, but especially in Pride Month. And as always with readathons, I've chosen a book for every single prompt, but I do not expect to get through all of these books in 1 month. I'm 100% a mood reader, so usually giving myself a set TBR does not work for me. And so I'll choose a book for each and every prompt. That way I can pick and choose and give myself options. But with that said, the rules of Panemathon state, if you read a book for every single prompt, you will gain an additional 1,000 points for your district. So, I am a Slytherin. I'm a very competitive Slytherin, which means I want to kick ass. I want my district to win, so I'm gonna try to read all of these books, plus the group books and the read-along books. Like, I'm gonna try to go for all of it. It's probably not gonna happen, especially considering one of the books on this TBR is gigantic, but I'm gonna go for it because I really like to win. And that's not just like a sore sport thing. I just like using the idea of competition as a way to motivate myself to try harder, and it really works for me, so I'm gonna really go for it and see how many of these books I can actually get through. Probably not all of them, but I'll be hopeful. We'll see what happens. But anyway, so let's get into my TBR for June and the prompts for Panemathon. For District 1, the Luxury District, the prompt is to read a 5-star anticipated book. And for this one, I'll be reading The Storm of Life by Amy Rose Capetta. I've talked about this quite a bit on my channel, and I'm finally going to actually read it. This is book 2 in the Brilliant Death duology. It takes place in a fantasy world inspired by Italy. The first book follows the daughter of a mafia leader and her partner, who are both Strega, and they use their magical powers in order to help save her family. I don't actually know the plot of the second book. I read it before, but I forget, and I'm fine with that. I want to go into this being pretty surprised. The first book is one of my favorite books of all time, so I really think that I'll love this one, and I think it'll be 5 stars. District 2 is Weaponry, and that's to read a book with a weapon, armor, or a shield on the cover. And so for that one, I'll be reading Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. This is book 1 of the Last Hours trilogy and about the millionth book in the Shadowhunter world. So this one, plot-wise, no idea, but I know that it follows the children of the characters from the Infernal Devices, which is my favorite Shadowhunter installment, so I really hope that I love this one. There's also a whole bunch of queer characters in here, so I think it'll be good. District 3, Technology, and that's to read a sci-fi book. I'll be reading Bonds of Brass by Emily Skrutskie, and words cannot explain how excited I am to read this book. Oh my god. This is Emily Skrutskie's newest release, and I literally almost screamed when I checked my library's ebook app earlier to see if they had it finally, and they did, and oh my god. This was released, I think, in March. I want to say it was March. Might have been May. It was an M month. Watch it be April. But my library didn't have it yet, and I was hoping they would, and hoping, and they did get it. So I'm so excited. Emily Skrutskie is one of my favorite authors of all time, and Bonds of Brass is one of my top 5 most anticipated reads of the year. So I'm so excited for it. Again, plot-wise, not a clue. And I don't really want to know, I just know that it's sci-fi and it's a male-male romance, and that's literally all that I know. District 4 is fishing, and for this one you have to read a book set on, by, or in the sea. I chose The Mermaid, the Witch in the Sea by Maggie Tokuda-Hall. This has pirates, there's mermaids, there's magic involved, there's a woman disguised as a man, which is a trope that I freaking love. It's a female-female romance, and it has one of the most stunning covers that I have ever seen. Oh my god, it's beautiful! District 5 is electricity, and the prompt for this one is to read either an ebook or an audiobook, or to read a book at night. So for this one, I'm probably gonna mood read, but I'm thinking that I'm gonna read Meet Cute Club by Jack Harbon. This one is an enemies to lovers male-male romance about a paranormal romance reading book club, and it sounds like everything that I want in an adult romance book. District 6 is transportation, and that's to read a book set outside of your country or your world. Given that I live in Canada, pretty much nothing is ever set here, so I basically have the pick of my entire TBR. So for this one, I'm also going to mood read, and I haven't really thought of one that I'm going to use yet. This will be my like get out of jail free card for if I don't want to read anything on this TBR. I will have one book that I am for sure mood reading. District 7 is lumber, and that's to read a book set in nature or with nature on the cover. This is the district that I have chosen to represent for Panemathon. I chose this district because it's led by Robbie himself, and I feel like an overly ambitious Ravenclaw and a really competitive Slytherin is going to make a fantastic team, so I think we'll kick ass. So each district has a group book, and ours is Bonecryer's Moon by Katherine Purdy. This one's not a queer book as far as I know, so I might read it. I'm not sure yet. I'm still deciding. I want the points, but I also want to read queer books. I might do both. We'll see. But if I choose not to do the group book and I instead do a queer book, then I'm going to read The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This is a fantasy with a male-male romance element to it about a 40-something-year-old man who's essentially a social worker for magical children who are potentially dangerous and also orphans. He gets assigned to this one orphanage that's home to a group of some truly dangerous children, including a gnome, a sprite, a wyvern, an unidentifiable green blob, a were-Pomeranian, and the Antichrist. This book sounds like an absolute delight, and I think I'll love it, so I'm not sure which one I'll pick yet, but it'll be one of those two. District 8 is textiles, and the prompt for this is to read a book with more than 3 colors on the cover. And I chose to read Super Adjacent by Cestari. This book has to do with superheroes, an FF romance, and something to do with non-super people saving the heroes, which sounds really fun. District 9 is grain, and we have to read a book that starts with the letter G. I don't have a single queer book that starts with G on my TBR apparently, so for this one I'll be reading The Girl in the Tower by Arden. This is book 2 in the Winter Night trilogy, which deals with Slavic folklore. I read the first one last year and absolutely adored it. It was so good, so I can't wait to read this one. I did order this book off of Book Depository, but with postal services being delayed, I have no idea when it's going to arrive. I did order it about a month ago, so I imagine it'll be here before the end of June. I hope. But if we get like 2 weeks into June and it still isn't here, then I'll pick something else for this prompt. For District 10, we have livestock, which is to read a book featuring a animal main character or an animal as a prominent feature on the cover. I'll be reading The Circus Rose by Betsy Cornwell. It's a queer retelling of Snow White and Red Rose set at a circus. It has a strong found family element, and there's a big old bear on the cover, so it's perfect for this prompt. District 11 is agriculture, and for this one you have to read a book that has a strong friendship element. This was inspired by the friendship of Katniss and Rue in the first book, and I chose When We Were Magic by Sarah Gailey. This is an urban fantasy about 6 young witches who are in a coven together, so they're like family. At least one of them is queer, and it has an FF romance. And finally, District 12 is the coal mining district, and the prompt for this is to read a book with fire in the title or on the cover. And for this I'll be reading Elysium Girls by Kate Pentecost. It's gay as fuck. There are witches, there are demons. It's set during the Dust Bowl in America, which I think was during the 1930s, maybe? Around there. I've never read a book set in this time period before, so I think it'll be really cool and super unique and I cannot wait for it, and the cover looks badass. And that's it. That's all the prompts. Along with all the prompts for this readathon, there are also going to be read-alongs of the original trilogy as well as the new book. I might try and squeeze those in as well because you get extra points, and even though I literally just reread The Hunger Games, I really want to win, so I might read them again just to get the extra points. If I have time, I'll do those last probably, and if I really have the time for it, then I will read those. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. You guys should definitely check out Panemathon. Join us. This is going to be a really fun readathon. Robbie has worked so hard on this, so definitely join it. And if you do, then may the odds be ever in your favor.